First, I want to introduce to you Jeff Bowman, our chairman of MEC this year. Jeff is the CEO of Cooperative Energy. Jeff, thank you for being with us this morning. We're glad to have you.
Glad to be here, Scott. You mentioned it being more casual. Anytime I have to put a tie on now, it doesn't feel more casual, but I'm sure compared to some other events this is. It's a great way to kick off the new year. It's hard to believe it is 2024. I always know that when we come for Capitol Day, that it's time to get back to business and out of the holiday routine.
It is, and I tell you, one of the things that we focus on at MEC is helping grow the economy, and I know that's one of y'all's objectives at Cooperative Energy, especially when it comes to economic development, business recruitment. Y'all play a major role in that. You know, we've had multiple conversations with the governor about what's been happening. Tell me a little bit about the role that y'all play and what not only you do as a company, but all of MEC members collectively do in helping grow our economy.
Well, you mentioned the governor. I think for us to grow our economy like we want to, it has to start there. And we're fortunate we have a governor and elected officials that are focused on bringing more jobs to our state. And when we talk about economic development, that's what we consider. We're talking about bringing more jobs, more opportunities for every Mississippian. And we like to talk about it in terms of total capital dollars or total jobs, but we don't ever need to lose sight of the fact that every new job we bring to the state represents an entire family in Mississippi that goes from being unemployed to employed or underemployed to fully employed. And it makes a difference that you can't really quantify in terms of capital dollars or jobs. But it's critical that once we have that support from the governor and others, that across all business sectors, we do our part to help continue to grow our economy. And this is the way MEC, basically being the voice of business across all sectors of business in our state, does a great job of connecting us to our policymakers and kicking the season off with Capitol Day.
And speaking of kicking it off with Capitol Day, this year is the earliest possible date of the month that we can hold Capitol Day. Anytime the first falls on a Monday, I kind of dread it because I know I've got about a day and a half to turn around a lot of stuff because we're going to have some of our closest friends with us for a little while on the 4th. But, we're here and really, as you can see from just the number of people here, the people that will be in and out throughout the day, what makes this event so special for MEC?
Well, I mentioned earlier, for me, it still feels like we're in a holiday schedule, but once you arrive here, it's time to get back to work. I mean, we've got our elected leaders getting started to work, but the thing that MEC does with this that I think is so beneficial to its members is it does kickstart the new year. It gets us refocused on business, but it connects us with our elected leaders. We get to hear from them what their priorities are, but we also get to collaborate with them so that they understand what our concerns are as well. Just a great event.
Well, one of the things MEC is so good at that because of the leadership we have with our boards and our members is creating a vision for the state. And a couple of years ago, we introduced our Securing Mississippi's Future, which outlined 5 goals to help us really move our state forward. Several of those recommendations are already being enacted, and we're building on some of that. Why is the vision so important for this organization to be successful?
Well, I think this organization and any other one, you have to know kind of where you want to go. And it helps MEC to lay out for its members, okay, what our priorities are. What's the old saying that if you don't know where you're going, you'll always get there? I mean, having that strategic vision is critical for us to continue to focus on growing the economy in the ways we think are best for business. But it also allows us to, when we have that strategic vision and that path forward, we can collaborate better with our elected leaders, those policymakers. And what we find is that in many cases, we share the same goals. And so then it's a matter of just collaborating and figuring out what's the best way to get there, to benefit all Mississippians and ultimately continue to grow the economy, make our state a better place for all Mississippians to live.
And one of the things that we do is try to continue to figure out what's coming down the line, looking ahead. And a couple of months ago at Hobnob, we announced our AIM initiative. I know hopefully some of y'all were there and heard a little bit about this, but what it is, it has 3 major points. One is a student-centered K-12 accountability model that really focuses on how do we do a better job of balancing, that model in terms of what students are learning in high school. Secondly is how do we focus on post-secondary attainment in driving our Cent to 55 initiative to get more people to have either a credential, a community college, associate's degree, or either a bachelor's or higher. That's a big part of that. And then finally, the last part is the one that we really got to put a lot of time and thought into, because we got to grow our economy, but we also have to grow our population. And that begins with young professionals to make sure that we give opportunities for young professionals to not only stay here in Mississippi, but attract people from other groups. This is one of the things that we do that helps us work together with both the public and the private sector to identify these things. So as we do this, we really have to focus on some of those things. So, tell us a little bit, if you would, about how all of this working together makes a really important thing for us to kind of focus our attention on.
Well, I guess the first thing I'd start with saying what the AIM effort is not. It's not us as business telling others how it needs to be done. What it is, it's our effort to give input to the needs that we have in the business world, right? And then hopefully align those with our education and workforce programs. So we're not telling folks how it needs to be done or how to better do it, but we do want to make sure that we're part of the process and we express here the areas that we think we need skilled workforce changes perhaps, or if we have a deficiency in other areas. These are things by collaborating, and again, this is what MEC does very well, connecting the private business world with our public agencies and hopefully coming out with a better result, because if we do this successfully, then again the result is we have more Mississippians gainfully employed here in our state, and that's what we in the business world need.
Well, it is, and I think as we look at this and try to figure out our best approach to it, just a few minutes ago our operating board met and we put together what will be our legislative agenda for this upcoming session. And all of those things that we talked about, how do we do a better job of focusing on workforce development and getting all those things in place? How do we do a better job of making sure that we're funding the career coach model? How do we do a better job of being involved in the conversation around healthcare and all of those things? The other issues is, one of the things that'll be on the table this year is financial aid. How do we improve the amount of financial aid, and more importantly, expand that to the non-traditional and those students? So as MEC took on these ideas and these approaches, and with the support of our members and the support of our board, it really gives us the voice to be the voice of business at the Capitol. So just kind of your thoughts on that, and how do we continue to move that forward? Well,
I mean, we talk about MEC being a very strong voice of business, and this event is, I think, emblematic of that. In closing, I'll say I thank MEC staff for a lot of hard work to put this together, and again, at this early, that means they had to do a lot of work during the holiday season, which we all should appreciate. If you see them, please thank them. We're going to get to hear from the governor here this morning. We'll go to the Capitol and see some of our other elected officials. Please, if you get the opportunity, thank them as well. They've got 1,000 things on their plate right now that they need to be doing, and so we're appreciative of their time. And on behalf of MEC, thank you all for being here today, but also thank you for your support of MEC, but more importantly, thank you for everything you do in our state to improve the quality of life for all Mississippians. It makes a difference, and together it feels like with our elected officials we are moving Mississippi forward in a very positive direction. Well, Jeff, thank you. Thank you for your leadership. I want to thank our board for their leadership as well. And we appreciate you spending a few minutes this morning talking about what's going on at MEC, and look forward to a great day here at Capitol Day. Yeah, glad to do it, Scott. Thank you. Yeah.